everyone, and welcome to Touchbase Thursday with Kim Bogo and the Basement Bun Stampers for May 14th. And officially, that as of today, my granddaughter is a month old already. I'm not sure how that happened so fast. But I'm excited to have you guys live with me tonight, and I cannot wait to share with you some awesome projects that I created. So if you are live with me, please go ahead and let me know that you're live. Say hi. If you're watching on replay, please comment replay and let me know that you're there. And I'm just going to load my computer here and make sure that I can also see myself and see some of you guys' comments coming in. So welcome again. It's a dreary day here in Michigan. We had rain on and off, so we're, dealing with that. So it's been kind of blah. But I'm excited that my Thursdays always, I look forward to coming live with all of you. So I'm excited about that. So, here we go. Hi, Cheryl and Penny and Paula, Kathy. So welcome. So first of all, you guys are probably looking at my hair and thinking her hair is different. So I'm going to put my head down so you guys can see. Natalie did my hair tonight. She did the little twisty stuff and fixed it all nice and pretty. So if it looks different, it is different. And you guys are probably also noticing how dark it is. As you guys know, I mentioned a couple weeks ago that Natalie actually cut my hair. It was longer and I couldn't take it anymore with all of our places being closed. So she cut it shorter and it's made my hair look really dark. So this is, yeah, I'm kind of liking it though. But totally different look, and no flower tonight. Nope, no flower, because she has it all like really cute and pinned back. And anyway, I thought it was kind of fun for something different tonight, and it was a reason to get kind of looking nice for all of you to do my live with you guys. So anyway, I also wanted to let you guys know something, because I've had about 7 of you comment this week, and I need to tell you how amazing it has felt that you've noticed this just from me being on Facebook Lives with you guys. But I had a few of you ask me if I've been losing weight, and I'm here to tell you it made me feel so amazing, because I have been trying really hard. So I wasn't going to announce this until I had lost more, but I have been working hard, and I am down 20 pounds since the beginning of the year. So I know a lot of you haven't seen me, other than you've mentioned my face looks thinner. You've mentioned that I just look different on video. And so I thought it was time to tell you guys, yes, I have been. It hasn't been easy. It's been a ton of work, but I'm going to try for at least 20 more. I've never, ever in my life been this tiny, petite little person, and I'm okay with that. But I want to be healthier for me and for my family and this new grandbaby I have. And so that was kind of my goal. And yeah, so I want to thank you guys, those of you that have messaged me and asked, because it really felt good that you noticed that just by seeing me in front of you guys for the last, I don't know how long you've been watching me and following me. So anyway, so thank you guys for noticing that. I do appreciate it. Like I mentioned, Chloe is officially a month old today already, my new granddaughter. And most of you are asking if I get to see her and stuff. And I do. We try to keep distance. We try to, I have been able to hold her a couple times with precautions in place. I mean, we're really careful. But I know a lot of you have asked me that. And it's been nice to see her and that sort of thing. So anyway, but yeah, that just kind of started in the last little bit that we've been able to do some of that. But anyway, and then a couple of you have also asked me how my mom's been doing, so I know I report on my mom. And my brother and my mom actually came down to Mount Pleasant. We were able to see them social distancing on Mother's Day. They brought us down some food that my brother had got for us at a good deal and good prices and stuff. And so anyway, I was able to see her. It was the first time since the beginning of March. And so that was just amazing to even just be able to see her. Even though I couldn't grab her and hug her, it was amazing to see her. So anyway, the new catalog, I'm here to tell you that my new catalogs that I've ordered are on my porch. They came like literally 15 minutes before I went live with all of you. So I am like chomping at the bit to get that box opened and look at one. So anyway, again, I'm hopeful that those of you who have ordered with me in the last year, you're going to be getting a catalog. It should be in the next week or so. Let me know when you receive that. If you don't receive one by the end of the month, let me know and I'll send one to you. If you're wondering if you were on my mailing list, you can let me know and I'll look into that. But I'm here to tell you, if you are not a demonstrator and you need a catalog, I can hook you up. So I'm excited about that. Online bingo. Some of you signed up for my online bingo, which is next week, Wednesday, May 20th. And I sent the kits out today, and you'll be getting an email from me over the weekend with further instructions for joining the Facebook group page and all that good stuff. So just know that you will definitely get more information on that, but those went out today. And the mail has been taking a little bit longer. I mailed, I had my team meeting last week, and I mailed all of my team make and take kits out on Thursday, and some of them right here in Michigan didn't even receive them until the day after the team meeting. So I'm hopeful that you guys all get them on time, but just so you know, they did go out today. And if any of you are still interested in playing bingo, yes, we can make it work. Your make and takes might be a little bit different because I am out of make and take kits, and I don't have time to cut any more to get them in the mail in time, but I could substitute with other make and takes. So if you're still interested in bingo, let me know. We can make it work. Cost is $35. That includes the shipping of the kit to you with all kinds of fun stuff. And if you're a prize winner, it includes the prize coming to you. So anyway, my May classes have posted. Some of you may have already seen those and commented on them. So those classes, I'm going to have 5. What you're going to see tonight is also going to be a class option. I just didn't want to post it yet because I wanted you guys to see the projects here tonight first. But I love these cards. You're going to learn a couple neat little techniques with watercolor washing and some masking that I did with some sponging and things. So I really hope you guys like the cards and stuff that I'm going to create for you tonight. And then there's a class with a Beautiful Moment stamp set. There is one with the country club, the golfing, I have to look at my notes, and birthday jubilee and mountain air. So I've got a lot of options again this month, purposely for those of us who are at home with not much to do, you want something to do. My kits are a perfect thing for you to do. My kits are $28 or they're free with a minimum $35 Stampin' Up! Order. And they're either 8 cards or 10 cards. So it's a pretty good deal. And you get product plus a kit if you do the order option. So it's a pretty awesome deal. And then I also do a card club. So my card club consists of, basically you get to pick one of my classes each month that you want. So out of the 4 or 5 options, you get to pick one of them. And you get that for free with a minimum $35 order. But being in my club, it's a 10-month commitment. So you have to pick a kit for 10 months. You get 10, pick whatever one you want. And then one of those months, you're the host and you get $50 in free product. Okay, so that's kind of how my club works. And if you want more information on that, I do have a flyer. But I know some of you have been ordering from me pretty regularly now on a monthly basis. And you might want to consider joining that 10-month commitment because you're going to get $50 of free product of your choice one time during that 10-month when you're the host for the month that I assign you. Couldn't get that out very easily, could I? Anyway, so let me see what else I got here. Retiring products. I want you guys to make sure that you're paying attention. I posted the retired products list a while back. But some things are going fast, so if there's anything you wanted, I encourage you to order it sooner than later. And you, last night, I know a good handful of you watched my Facebook Live where I showcased some sneak peeks of the new catalog. So if you missed that, it's posted here on my page here. I encourage you to go back and watch that later. And yeah, so that's what I have in the way of announcements. Oh, my Bogo Sale. So Bogo Sale is happening in case you guys didn't hear the announcement last week. My Bogo Sale will be June 26th, 27th. I'll be taking some precautionary measures, limiting the number of people here at a time, hand sanitizer when you're in and out. I won't be offering any refreshments, but I'll be doing different. I mean, I'll have water for you guys, bottled water, but usually I provide snacks and all that. But I'm going to just take some precautions, but I'm still going to have it with my online Bogo Sale following afterwards. And that will be in my Facebook. I have a separate Facebook group that I'll be posting for you guys to join. If you've already joined it last year, you're still in it. But it's an online BOGO sale where you pick the things that you want, I ship them to you, you put in an online order of the equal value, and you get all my retired stuff for free that you've picked. It's a pretty good deal. So you'll be seeing more and hearing more about that as well. And so anyway, let's give away some awesome products from last week's Facebook Live. So we had up for grabs 2 bolts of ribbon. One was the, I hope I can read this without my glasses on. One was the Seaside Spray. Now this ribbon was out at Christmas time and it's coming back in the new annual catalog. So that's why I'm giving one away. And the other one is the Sahara Sand. This is really neat ribbon. You can like cut the edge off and it makes like a little tassel edged ribbon. So I really like this. This is the Sahara Sand, oh, what one is this called? Woven Threads Trim. So we have 2 winners. The winner of the Sahara Sand Trim is Philomena So-So. Is it So-So or Sasso? I'd love for you to tell me, Philomena, which way is right. So anyway, Philomena is the winner of that one. So congratulations. And then the winner of our, the Seaside Spray is Donna Davis. So congratulations, ladies. And I think both of you are watching tonight and I have your addresses. So those will go out in the mail early next week. I gotta toot my own horn because the mail has normally been my downfall. I'm horrible about getting things out right on time. I mean, like, I would say horrible, but like sometimes I might wait like an extra 4 or 5 days before I get my Facebook Live prizes out. But now that I know how to figure out my own postage, it's been going really easy and it's on my to-do list at least by Monday of the following week. So I've been pretty proud of myself. We have 2 items up for grabs that I will draw winners for next week. So to get entered into the drawing, all you need to do is share my video. I also encourage you to let your friends know, other stamping friends know about me and about my Facebook Lives. I'd love to keep people inspired and all that awesome stuff. So anyway, up for grabs this week is a bolt of the Mint Macron ribbon. I love this ribbon. It's very pretty. Very, very pretty. Love it. And then the other one is the Whisper White Flax ribbon. And I use this a lot on different 3D projects over the course of the last year. Those of you that have been watching my lives, you've probably seen me use this a lot. So both of these ribbons are retiring. Sad to see this one go for sure. But 2 lucky winners will win that next week. So we will be drawing on that. Anyway, so with that, I am going to transition my camera down to my stamp area. You guys are all going to get a little sneak peek of the projects that I'm going to be sharing with you tonight. And I'm using the By the Bay bundle. And no, not By the Bay. Is it By the Bay? By the Dock. By the Dock bundle. It is in the new catalog. But I want to let you know that you have to, if you want to get the 10% discount on the bundle, you need to order it by the end of May. So what Stampin' Up! Does is when new bundles come out, so a bundle could be the stamp set and coordinating dies or the stamp set and coordinating punch. When they come out with those bundles, they're 10% off in the first catalog that they come out in. So the By the Dock bundle was in the mini January through June catalog. So that is the catalog that they are 10% off. And now they're carrying over into the new annual catalog, but you'll have to buy them separately and you will not get that 10% discount. And that was a question I had from a couple of you. You were wondering what some of the bundles that were on the retired list, but they're still in the new catalog. That's why. They're just not selling them with that 10% off anymore. So just so you guys are aware of that. And that is the case with the one tonight as well. So with that, I'm going to transition my camera down and we are going to do some stamping. So I'll be right back with you guys. I need to also turn my computer so that I can continue to see comments. So some of you are saying that you don't have any sound. But I'm wondering if others of you can hear me okay. I'm using a different computer and I turned my volume up all the way on my phone. So I don't know anything else that I can do differently. With the no sound, you might want to, if someone wants to type, they might need to go out and come back in. That does take care of the sound issues sometimes. But on my end, I think I'm okay. Thank you, Kathy, for doing that perfectly well. Thank you. So anyway, you guys are getting a sneak peek of my cards. Now I'm going to take them all away. So what I am using is the By the Dock bundle. And this bundle is in our mini catalog. And you get the coordinating dies with the stamp set. So you have here, this die right here will cut out the dock itself. And then you have this one here that will cut out the cute little canoe, the little boat. You have little, the green grass here as well. And then you have the little oars and things like that. So, yeah. But I think other than that, a cute little frog. I didn't use the frog on my stuff. And I don't have my catalog handy. It's the one thing I did not grab, so I apologize. I will post the price of this later. But you save the 10% off by ordering it now. So is my sound better now that I'm sitting down? I have no idea, you guys, why it goes in and out. I have no clue. I'm hoping though when it goes in and out, you guys can still hear me okay? Because my volume is up on everything. So maybe I need to invest in a little microphone or something to make that better. But I'm hoping that you guys can still hear me. So anyway, okay, so the first card that we're going to make, and we're going to make this one first in a two-step process because we're going to do some watercoloring in the background, and that needs to dry before I can finish this card. Now, all of these cards, I also use the Come Sail Away Designer Series paper. So the Come Sail Away Designer Series paper is paper that is in our annual catalog, and it is retiring. And I thought that that paper, even though it went with the lighthouse and a sailboat stamp set, I thought it paired very nicely as well with the By the Dock. So you're going to see a little bit of this Designer Series paper in all of these cards that I'm creating with you tonight. And like I said, this is also a class option. So you'll have an opportunity to get your hands on this kit as well. So I'm going to bring in some grid paper because we're going to get a little wet here, and I don't want to ruin my backdrop here. So this is a piece of the watercolor paper that I cut out with the stitched rectangles. And what we're going to do is we're going to use 3 different colors of ink. I used the Bermuda Bay. I used, let me find it. Oh, I may have taken the crumb cake away from here, but I will go find it because I am making other cards, and so I've been stealing things. Oh, there's the crumb cake. I have everything I need. So I'm using Bermuda Bay, the crumb cake, and then I use the Balmy Blue. And so we're going to start with the crumb cake to do some watercolor. I'm going to bring the sample back in so you guys can kind of see and follow along with me as I watercolor this. So I'm using our Aqua Painters. Now, these Aqua Painters are on the retired list, but I'm here to tell you that yes, they're retiring in the form in which they are right now, but they will be coming back. I mean, they're kind of reconfiguring them, and so they're going to be selling them differently. I think there's a set of 3 that are going to be in the package in the new catalog. So don't fear that these are gone forever. They're just gone for a little while. So I'm using the crumb cake, and then I just filled my Aqua Painter with some water. So those of you who haven't seen these before, you just twist the top off, you fill it with tap water, or you can use any kind of water. I fill it with just water from my sink because I dump them out after I'm done. If you're going to leave the water sitting here for any duration, I strongly encourage that you don't, but I wouldn't use just your regular water. I would use like distilled water or something like that. Now, with our old style of ink pads, we used to be able to, when you had them shut, you could squeeze them together and you'd be able to get some ink in the lid. And that for me is not the case with these new ones. And so I actually just pull a little bit of color right off my ink pad. I just kind of twist my Aqua Painter around on my ink pad. You will not ruin your ink pad. And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to just kind of watercolor the bottom of this, and you can see it's just kind of adding ever so lightly some color to the bottom. And I'm not squeezing my pen. The water is just kind of coming out all on its own. And this does not have to be anything too pretty. So I mean, you can see here on this one, I have different colors and different shades. And to me, that's kind of what you want when you are creating a watercolor looking card. So now I'm going to go ahead and put my crumb cake away. And then you want to just get rid of the water in here. So you could easily just kind of pat it all out like this. What I do is I actually have a cup that I use, and I just squeeze some of the water out into my cup until it turns clear. So literally I'm using a solo cup and I'm just squeezing into it, okay? And then I'm going to use the Bermuda Bay next. And the Bermuda Bay is just, and again, I wanted it to look kind of like it was, you know, like a scene from the beach. And I'm just going to kind of do the exact same thing here. When you run out of color, you're just going to go grab some more. And you're just going to kind of blend this together. So basically I'm doing it in thirds. 1/3 of it is the crumb cake, 1/3 is going to be the Bermuda Bay, and then the very top is going to be like the sky. So that's kind of the ocean. And if you want it to be a little bit darker, you can kind of make some more lines in it. And it would do that for you. And now I'm just going to do the same thing. I'm squeezing this out, and it changes over pretty quickly. I'm using a dirty cup, which is why I don't want you guys to see it. So anyway, and now I'm going to go ahead and top this top part off with the Pool Party. Or no, this is the Balmy Blue, and I'm just going to do the top. Now you can see that this watercolor paper is kind of folding up. As it dries, it will lay flat again. And this watercolor paper is designed to absorb lots of water. So don't fear about ever getting too much water into this, because you will not get too much water. It'll absorb it in. Now I would not suggest you do this with regular cardstock, because that you'd have to move really fast and you wouldn't have a whole lot of time to do what I just did there. So we're going to set this to the side and let it dry, and but I want you guys to kind of see side by side what I've just done, and then we're going to come back and stamp on it later, and kind of finish this card out. Okay, so but again, that watercolor, I love Aqua Painters too, you guys. That's awesome. So what size is this white paper? This is just, I think it's the biggest die from the, can you see the stitched edges around it? So it is the biggest die from the rectangle stitched framelits. So I'm not sure the exact size of it, because it's just one of those dies. But I'm going to put this card to the side, and we'll come back to this one probably after I do my other ones, and we'll make sure that this dries really good before we continue on that card. Okay. But anyway, totally love the watercolor wash, and you could do that with all kinds of different colors. You could do it with just like, you wouldn't have to do it for making like a scenery. You could do it just to have colors behind flowers and things like that. So it makes it really, really nice. Okay, let me find the next card on my pile. So the next one that we're going to create is this card right here. And I'm going to actually move my grid paper because it's a little damp and I don't need it for this card. So we're going to create this card next. And like I mentioned, all of my cards tonight have pieces of that awesome Come Sail Away Designer Series paper in it that is retiring. But I thought it paired together very nicely with this. Now this stamp set, this greeting, I love. I used it on a different card that I did for one of my YouTube videos, and I love it. So this one, again, it's part of the By the Dock. Thank you for making a difference in my life, and I love it. So Kathy mentioned I could also use a drop of ink from the refill in the lid. I could, but I will tell you that that does make it a little bit darker. So, because the ink that's in your refills is more concentrated, so it does make it just a tad bit more brighter and vivid. That's the only thing that I mean, it definitely works, but that's the only thing. So this is my 5 1/4 by 4 mat that's going on top of my card base. Card base is Balmy Blue, Night of Navy. And then these literally were pieces of scrap paper that I had. And all I'm doing is adhering these down to the card like that. Nothing fancy at all, but they coordinate so well together. It's just awesome how Stampin' Up! Does that. You know, the whole coordination of products and how awesome they look. Well, I would help if I would not put that on upside down, because that drives me crazy. So I'm going to change it, put it on here right. And then again, you could always use the opposite. So if you wanted to, you could put this one on like that. and then put the circle on here and you'd have a little bit of paper off that way. So there's so many different things that you can do with Designer Series paper and fixing things the way that you might want them to look just by flipping the paper over and changing the orientation of it or anything like that. So I'm going to go ahead and adhere this down there. And then one of the things that I've loved about this ribbon that's going to be leaving, and again, I know some of you may have seen this before, but I love adding it behind circles or behind elements where it's just kind of free flowing on the ends right here. I just love that look. And so that's what I did on this card. And all I'm going to do is add a little bit of adhesive right down to the center. And I'm going to glue this down to the center. And then I just snip the edge of this off like that with dull scissors. That's what I've got going on right now. I just got them sharpened too. And then we're going to stamp the sentiment on this. This is one of the stitched shapes circles. So that's from the stitched shapes where you get some of them that are circles, you get some of them that are circles, ovals, and was it squares? I had to think about that. And so we are going to stamp the "Thank you for making a difference in my life" stamp or greeting directly onto this like that. And then I gotta figure out how to get my computer to go back on. I hate it when computers have buttons on all these different places because like my work computer has the button for me to see the comments in one spot and my personal computer has them in another, and I'm using my personal computer tonight to see if that helped with my volume going in and out, but it didn't. So I'm back to the drawing board. So you guys, we will get it right. You'll have to just keep letting me know. I'll figure out and investigate something different to try for next week. So yes, Tammy's asking if we could also, for my watercolor wash, if we could have also used a black. And yes, that would also work. Most of you can probably see her comment. There are many different ways in which you can do it. I always try to just do it the most quickest way, and I don't have to worry about making anything messy. I just pull the ink right from the stamp set. Then I have just a little piece of blue. This is the Balmy Blue, and I just put it at the bottom here just to add a little bit. Since this is a little bit shorter, it's going to drive me crazy, so we need to cut this one shorter, you guys. Okay, and then I'm just going to put a little bit of adhesive right here. So this is, again, a little trick of the trade. When you're adhering something down that's not going all the way across, you put the adhesive where you want to stick the item, and then we're just going to stick this on here like that. And then I used also on these cards some of the little keys and the little nuts that are part of the, these are going to be retiring. They are the classic garage metal elements. And so I was pulling some of my retired stuff, and I thought these would be cute to do on these cards as well. The other thing that would have looked awesome on these cards is the Come Sail Away trinkets. But I don't have any more of them, so I chose to use these. I'm just going to put a little key on there, and then I'm going to top it off with a linen thread bow. So, and sometimes this linen thread, I know you guys have heard me talk about it before, it's not the most easiest to use at making a bow because of the way they have it on this little thread or this little thing. You have to really kind of mess with it sometimes, but we're going to get there. You just got to kind of keep playing with it and twisting and turning and all that great stuff. And then I'm just going to adhere this with a glue dot directly onto the part of the bottom of the key. And there you have the first card. Isn't that awesome? So pretty and so simple. So simple. Okay, so let me put that one to the side. So the next card that we are going to look at doing together involves a little masking, so I'm excited about this one. So this is the next card that we are going to create together. For this, I used Sahara Sand as my card base. I used a real little strip of this paper, and then you're going to see how I did some masking on this to be able to get some sponging done in between there. So what I used is I used the layering circles and these stitched shapes. Found two that kind of layered very nicely together. And we're going to do some stamping on this first before we do anything else. So I am going to bring in my Memento black ink because I'm also going to be using some blends to do a little bit of coloring on this card. Let me bring my grid paper back in because I think I'm going to be stamping off a little bit. and I don't want to make a complete mess. Okay, there we go. So for this one, again, we're using the Memento Black, and I'm using the dock. This is the actual dock, and I'm just not, I always pull out my sample on you guys, and then you guys can't see it as we're doing it together, and I really like to have you guys be able to peek at that, at least off to the side a little bit. So you can see that I did not put the entire dock in this. I only did part of the dock, so that's what we're going to do right here, is just do part of the dock. And then I am going to stamp the cute little boat next to it, and you can see this little line right here, this little, like the line that comes out for you to kind of hook on there. So you can try to stamp it directly on there to hook it on, or you can get it as close as you want. I vote for the as close as you want. That's usually what I do. And I'm just going to stamp my boat on there. Okay, got it down a little far, but that's okay. And then what I did is I colored this stuff in. Oh, I stamped a couple birds. I didn't do the birds. Let me get the birds out. So the bird is a separate stamp in this awesome stamp set. And let me just stamp the bird a couple times as well onto my card. So I'm using the opposite side of one of my other blocks, but there we go. So the only blends that I used on these cards is I used the Crumb Cake. You can see here I used the Crumb Cake Light and Dark, and then I used the Night of Navy, and I also used the Old Olive on a couple. So all I did for coloring is I colored the entire dock with my blend, the light, this is the light Crumb Cake first, and I'm just going to color all of it, and you can see that I'm not even, like, I'm doing it pretty fast. Doesn't have to be too perfect. And then I'm going to color the inside of the boat as well. And then you can go back through on this with the dark blend and just kind of highlight a few of these little lines. Highlight a little. Again, I don't do too, because to me, sometimes if it's perfect, it looks like it's not natural, if that makes sense at all. Like, I really want it to look like it's a little bit more natural and not, so like here, maybe the sun isn't shining quite directly onto that, and that's why that's kind of, so I always find myself sometimes, you know, trying to be too perfect, but sometimes depending on what the look you're going for, and you don't have to be. So I'm going to color these birds. I just colored these as well with the dark. And then what I did to do my sponging, so I am going to bring in, I got to cover up some of these ink pads, you guys, before we have ink everywhere. Okay, I'm going to bring in my Balmy Blue ink pad, and I am using a sponge dauber. So sponge daubers are what I use more when I'm masking instead of using the sponges. So what I did is in advance, I cut out, this is the dock die. It looks more like a fish with I don't know what, but this is the dock die that I've cut out, and this is the little canoe that I've cut out, and I cut them out of just regular vanilla cardstock. So you could pick any color for these, but what you're going to do is you're just going to cover this up. So this is called the masking technique. I'm just going to cover this up, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to sponge all around this, and I'm more than sponging, I'm actually just kind of adding color to it. And you can kind of go right on top of those birds, because those birds aren't going to matter. You've got them colored with a darker color than what you're using. And I just re-inked my ink pad, so this is probably going to be a little bit darker than my sample is, but that's okay. And if you don't like that, you see how you can kind of see where I went darker than before I went lighter, I'm going to make it all dark. So you can kind of apply the pressure the way in which you want it. And I'm going to go right in here. And now when you're doing the sponging, you don't want to go towards this because you'll lift this up. So I find it always easier when you're sponging, just a little tip, to go outwards, because that way you're able to work away from that. Okay. Then you have the little boat. So I'm going to do the same thing with the little boat, maybe. I'm going to cover that up. And I'm hoping I'm not shaking this too much for you guys. Oh, I know why that dark color came on there. I went where my ink pad's a little bit wet from the blue. So normally it wouldn't be that dark, you guys. It would normally be only what I'm doing right here. And then if you're like, you can kind of still see the white line a little bit. So move this down a little and then just kind of go back on top of that. But it works perfectly. It's called the masking technique. So you guys can kind of see that this one's a little bit better because I didn't have that dark of a blue on there. But it's still gonna look pretty. We're still gonna finish the card off. But yeah, so that's kind of what I do for the masking technique. And I feel like you have more control with the sponge dauber than you do if you were doing it with an actual sponge. So this is my card base. Again, it's Sahara Sand. It's 5.5 by 8.5. And I'm just going to go ahead and fold that in half. And then this little piece of paper is just going to get glued down here to the bottom of my card. Again, just a little scrap that I had left, but I felt like it just added enough to this. So these two I'm just going to adhere together. And then I'm going to put these onto the card with some dimensionals. So, and it looks like all I have here for dimensionals are my ends. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut up a few of these because I use them all up. I don't let anything like that go to waste. And then we're just going to go ahead and put these on, this on like that. And then I have, on my card, I put, I'll always look up to you no matter how much I've grown. I thought it was perfect for like Father's Day. I struggle with Father's Day cards because both my dad has passed and so has my father-in-law. And so I struggle with Father's Day cards, even though he's, you know, been gone for a while now. But I still like to do them to showcase them for you guys in case you do have dads that you still need to send cards to. But sometimes the first couple years, I think I feel awful because I actually kind of bypassed Father's Day. And I had a couple people say, hey, we didn't do any Father's Day cards. Actually, it was the first year, and I felt really bad because I hadn't thought about it, you know? I mean, it was just one of those things that I hadn't thought about. So I felt kind of bad. But that was kind of a moment where I was like, okay, Kim, you've got to consider these cards for everybody. Everyone's got different things that we make cards for, right? So anyway, but I love this one. I'll always look up to you no matter how much I've grown. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stamp that onto my little white piece. And then I'm going to use some of those dimensionals again and dimensional this onto my card. Telling you guys, without having nails, I am struggling. I cannot wait to get them done. Dimensional backings are the worst for me. I struggle getting them off without my fingernails. Hopefully things will open up soon again. I'm hopeful. And then what I did is, and I'm not going to actually take the time to do it on my video because I just did it and you guys saw it, but I topped the card off with a little wrench and a real little bow using that linen thread. So there you kind of get an idea of how to do that. And you can use these masks over and over and over again until they get kind of icky, or if they get bent up and stuff and not working very good. But I use these for both of these cards, and I'm going to keep them yet in case I want to make more of them. So okay, so that is card number 2. My next card that I want to share with you, let me see next on the pile. Oh, is this pretty one right here. So this is my next card, and this one I actually did a cutout of the little boat instead of doing stamping directly on, incorporating it like it's behind some grass, and then of course the cute little frog. So let's go ahead and make this card, and again I'm going to pull my grid paper out of here. I don't like that unless I absolutely have to use it. So let me put my card sample off to the side here for you guys to see. So for this card, I used the, you can kind of see my theme here has been crumb cake, Sahara Sand, Night of Navy, and the mossy, or the old olive. So I'm kind of sticking with the same colors on all of my cards. This is the crumb cake, and it is the 5.5 by 8.5 for the card base. And then I have a piece of oh, this is Night of Navy, cut 5 by 3 3/4. And then I have my Designer Series paper cut 4 3/4 by 3.5. And it's going to layer perfectly in there together. So let's go ahead and adhere this down. Oh, those dimensional backs get everywhere. It was so funny. The other week we were making dinner, and Claire was cooking in the kitchen with us, and normally it's just Natalie. Claire's not one to really cook. She does a lot of the cleanup for us, and all of a sudden Natalie says, Claire, you have a dimensional backing on your butt. She's like, I have a what? And we all started laughing. Those things end up everywhere. I think we should do a contest to see where the funniest places is where those end up, because I'm telling you. So I did the exact same thing with this ribbon as well that I did on my other card. I'm just going to put it on the back here. So this ribbon I found really hard to work with unless you did something like this. I mean, you can't make bows with it. You can't make it into a knot. It was a very thick ribbon, but it works this way so perfectly, and I am struggling with getting those cut. It has to be in the center or it's going to drive me crazy. Okay, and I'm only putting a little bit of adhesive down in the middle because that way we can easily have it look symmetrical. And then I have, this is also cut out with the stitched rectangles. So I don't know for sure which one, but you could pick any one that would work to have the boat fit on it. And then I just cut a piece of the Night of Navy a little bit bigger. Okay, so there's no set, dimensions on this one. And these two I'm just gonna go ahead and adhere together. So this one I chose, instead of stamping directly onto this very vanilla piece, I chose to actually stamp and use the die cut to cut my little canoe. So I'm gonna put some dimensionals on this, and I'm gonna do the 4 corners because I want it to stick around the ribbon. Again, that ribbon is kind of big. So, oh, thank you, Marsha. I'm glad that you like that ribbon technique. I find it a really good way to use ribbon that is very, very thick, because otherwise you really struggle with that thick ribbon. And I just think it just adds a little bit of something to these cards just to make them look a little bit more masculine. I just really like that. So in advance, I stamped and cut out with the die the little boat, and I'm going to color this the exact same way that I colored the other one. This one, though, I colored the entire boat with the crumb cake, even the sides. So that last one, I didn't color the blue on it. Oh, you guys didn't call me out on that. So on this card right here, maybe some of you noticed it and didn't say anything. So on this card, I used the Night of Navy and colored the boat here, which I didn't do on this one. So yeah, I'll have to go back and do that. So this one, I'm coloring the entire boat with the crumb cake light. And then I'm going to go back on top of it with the crumb cake dark and just kind of highlight some areas. I like to highlight these 2 big areas, and then I'm just going to highlight a little bit in through here. Again, there's no rhyme or reason to how I do that. So don't, if you're looking at my cards and you're ever trying to duplicate them perfectly, don't, because you'll never see any 2 cards the same of mine when it comes to using blends, because I just kind of have fun with it and color where it goes. So I'm not too bad of a perfectionist when it comes to that. So I'm just going to go ahead and dimensional this awesomely cute little boat onto my card. And then in advance, I used that die and I cut out the grass. And I'm just going to put a little bit of adhesive on the back of this, and I'm going to glue it down so it kind of looks like it's stuck in the grass. And then I used a smaller rectangle, stitched rectangle, and I stamped my little frog on there. So let me get my frog. The frog is also in the By the Dock stamp set, but I have to get him out. I didn't realize that I didn't have some of these out on blocks. I thought I had everything ready and prepared. So I did my projects. You guys would be proud of me. I did these projects for my Facebook Live tonight on Sunday or Saturday of last week already. I was ahead of the game, and I was really surprised. I surprised myself by doing that, I guess. But it was nice. I had them all done and ready. And then, but tonight when I went to set up, I had everything like in a tote ready for you guys. And then I had to say to myself, oh, do I have everything like in that tote? I had to kind of refresh my memory to make sure that I didn't indeed forget anything. So that was kind of a... I then used this little stamp set right here, this little stamp that looks like it's the Ripley water. And I just stamped it on the bottom. And then I'm going to color that in. So I used the I am crazy about my ink pads, you guys. They have to be covered up. I just colored him in with the light Old Olive, and I need to get a new light Old Olive because this one has seen better days. So I may have to pull out my dark to color him. I guess it worked. And then I used, on my sample, I used the Pool Party, but I put that one away and didn't leave it out. So I'm just going to use the Night of Navy and kind of make some ripples like it's the water. And then I put that on with a dimensional as well. So, Kathy, you say you have to pull out the stamp set. I'm here to tell you this is the first time I've played with it too, and I love it. Now, this card, I did not add a sentiment greeting to it. So there are some times where I like to just have cards that are readily available that I can put anything I want on it. So let's just say, for instance, you have a neighbor and unfortunately his wife passes away or something, and you want to send a sympathy card and you're like, oh my gosh, all my sympathy cards right now are really geared towards women. You have a masculine card that you could pull out. This would be a fine card to send with sympathy. You could get a little punch, use a with sympathy stamp, or just write in the inside, I'm so sorry for your loss, that kind of thing. So there are some times where I like to have cards that I just do like this that don't really have any kind of sentiment on them, and that is what I designed this one for, so that I could have a cute little card laying around. But yeah, I would definitely, and I have to, and that one is bad too, man. So I have different sets of blends and I have pulled the wrong ones, but this little froggy is driving me crazy, so I need to fix them. There we go. Going to be a little bit darker, but there we go, much better. Sorry, had to fix him. He didn't look right. Okay, so that is card number 3. Card number 4 is this awesome one right here. And so for this one, I did that masking technique as well. So this one I used, and I just really liked the blue in the background of it. This one I used the Old Olive, and so this Old Olive is my card base. Again, it's your standard 5.5 by 8.5. Just gonna fold it in half. And then I used the Corrugated embossing folder. Now this one's also retiring, so if it's something that you want, I suggest you order it before it's out. So this is 5.25 by 4, and like I said, I ran it through the Corrugated embossing folder, and it gives it that awesome look to it. I'm gonna miss this embossing folder. Oh, and with this embossing folder, I find it easier to add the snail to your card because it's really hard to add snail to this ripply effect. So I do the opposite when I'm gluing this down, just because it works so much better that way. Okay. And then I have another piece of that awesome designer series paper. So see, you had the sailboats, but I'm using the green, and I'm just going to adhere this down as well. And I'm going to put this on here like that. And then I have a piece of Whisper White cardstock. Let me make sure this is the right one. Yes. And this, I don't have the measurement written down. So if you want the measurement for this, I'll have to tell you. But again, I think I've showed you guys how I figure out these measurements. I literally just kind of put the stamps when they're clean onto my my grid paper and measure them, and then cut the piece accordingly. That's all I do. So I need to bring my grid paper back in because I think I have to stamp off on this one just a little bit. So bring in my Memento Black, and I need to take off my, boy, I've got stamps everywhere here, you guys. Okay, let me bring in this dock again. I need to clean my blocks again. I've already done it a couple times, but by using the Memento Black, they really get dirty really fast. So I'm just going to go ahead and stamp my dock onto this side of it. And then we're going to stamp the boat on the other side of it. So Karen, I agree. There's nothing about this that I don't like either. I think this is a really good card for doing, or a really good stamp set for doing masculine cards. It's just so simple. And what I like about it is it's versatile, that you can do. So sometimes you have masculine sets that are, definitely for Father's Day, or definitely for, you know, birthdays. This can be masculine for anything, and that is what I really like about this one. So the same thing, again, you're going to see I use the exact same blends for all of these. I used the crumb cake, I used the crumb cake, the old olive, and the night of navy. So again, you can see that I'm really not taking a ton of time to color this perfectly. And yes, I'm weird, I'm a lefty, so I turn my paper 20 million different ways to make it easier for me to color. And then I'm gonna go ahead and color the inside of this. Then after we do this card together, we're gonna go back to that watercolor one, because that's what I have left for you guys. And this time I'm gonna remember to color the outside of the boat as well. So the outside of the boat is old olive, although it's not, maybe I won't be coloring it, you guys. My old olives are not working great. But I think you guys get the gist of it. What I did is I colored the boat in the old olive and then went back over it with the dark, the exact same technique that you guys saw me do with the other ones. So, whoops, got to get the right end. So this is the dark. I'm going to color the bird in the dark. You could also have gotten creative and done the bird in a different color, but I just kind of kept it similar. Again, no rhyme or reason to how I'm doing this. It's just how I roll. But you see how pretty it looks? You can't go wrong with those. Sarah, yes, summertime, fishing, so a lot of uses for this. And this is a great one for using in your scrapbooking as well. So, you know, those of you, I still scrapbook, so I love it for that. So again, I have my same mask. You guys see how that works? So I would do the exact same thing again. I don't want to bore you guys, but I'm going to do it so you can see it. And I'm not going to do it in the spot where that ink hasn't dried yet. It will dry, by the way. And all I'm going to do is ink this off. See how that eventually gets kind of worn? Okay, so on and so forth. You're going to add your color. I'm not going to actually do the whole thing because you guys saw the technique already. And then this would get adhered down to my card right here. I stamped here for you. I'm realizing that it's almost 8 o'clock and I don't want to bore you guys too long. You stamp the here for you on that part. And again, I topped it off with the key and the linen thread. Okay, cute, simple card. So let's go back to the card we started with. So we started with this awesome, now this one I did do as a Father's Day card, and I'll probably give it to my son to give to his dad, or even to give it to my husband, his stepdad, just because I usually give him cards to save him having to go buy them. I won't let anyone buy cards that I know, because, you know, why would you need to buy a card when I have them all over in my basement? So this is the watercolor piece that we did earlier in the class. You can see how nice that dried and how awesome it is. It laid right back out. Now, normally what you need to do, and I'm here to tell you I'm breaking the rule. Normally, Stampin' Up! Tells you that when you do watercolor, you need to use stays on ink. I'm here to tell you, if you do this the way that I did it, you do not have to use stays on ink. You can use Memento ink. But the difference is you had to do your watercolor wash first and your stamping after it's completely dry. So this is a water-based ink, and this is a water-based because we use water. So if I would have stamped all of this stuff on here first and then did the watercolor wash, we'd have had a black mess. But the stays on ink that Stampin' Up! Sells, it's great ink, but it really is hard to get off your stamps, especially your photopolymers. Now this set is not photopolymer, this set is the red rubber cling set. But I tried to use, oh, you guys are making me feel so awesome that I don't bore you. I just saw the time on the computer and I'm like, oh my gosh, I usually try to keep it to 45 minutes and I'm totally going over. But I try to use the Memento black ink whenever I can, because the Memento black ink is just a cleaner ink to clean off, and I feel it does a little bit of a better job stamping. Just my opinion. So, oh, Kathy, you're right. I can give my son a Father's Day card. Oh my gosh, I forgot about that till right now. That is so awesome. Okay, great idea. That might be his Father's Day card. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and ink up my dock again. And because this is nice and dry, trust me, it's nice and dry. I let it sit there for a while. I am going to stamp. Let me make sure I got this good and inked up though. Okay, so I am gonna go ahead and stamp the dock onto the card or the piece. And what I do is I really kind of let this sit here for a little while and I kind of just let that ink absorb, but look how good it does. Okay, so like I said, normally they tell you that they want you to use StazOn ink, but if you let it dry and you do it after the fact, I have had no issues with it. So just a little tip for you, if you wanted to do it the opposite way, then you would need to use StazOn black before you did any of your inking. So, or your watercolor. So now I'm just gonna go ahead and add some birds to this, like there's birds flying all over the place. How cool is that? And then from there, we're just gonna assemble this together. So my whole goal in my Facebook Lives is to give you guys little tips and tricks and things that you can use in your own card making. And this is one that I figured out kind of just on my own by trial and error. I was actually at an event and I didn't take my StazOn ink and I was doing watercoloring as my demonstration. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I hope this works. And it did. So it's kind of been my new go-to. Now this you're going to want to make sure you add lots of adhesive to, because it's still going to have a tendency to want to, and I must be out of adhesive. It's still going to have a tendency to want to come up on you. And I just put a little bit of a white piece behind it just to kind of pull it, whoops, just to kind of pull out the background a little bit more when I put this onto this part. So then I adhered this onto here and I'm out of adhesive. So we are going to improvise and use some glue dots on the four corners. These glue dots are an awesome adhesive if you get in a bind as well. But I'm almost done for the evening and so I don't want to go get another snail. And I'm just going to go ahead and adhere this down to the middle. And then this is the gray granite that I used for my card base. So we have smoky slate and gray granite, and I'm a gray granite person. I really like the gray granite. I just think it's pretty awesome. And then I'm gonna use glue dots again, and I'm just putting it on the four corners, one in the middle, and I'm gonna adhere this down to my card like that. And then I have one of the little rectangles that I use the stitched rectangles a lot on this as well. And for this, I went to Itty-Bitty Greetings. Now, Itty-Bitty Greetings, I believe, is retiring, maybe not. I'd have to look that up. But I used the World's Best Father from this set. Oh, and I already have it out. Look at me. Let me pull that off my block. And I'm going to stamp, and this I didn't put the stickers on, so I need to make sure I don't have it upside down, and I don't. Yay. So I'm just going to stamp World's Best Father on the end of this. So you can see I left the other side so that I had room to put that little embellishment. And I lost you guys for a minute. Sorry about my finger being in the way. And then I'm going to just go ahead and put a couple of dimensionals on the end here. Let me get my scissors so I can cut one instead of pulling it and tearing it. So this is just going to go down here on the bottom. So the only color to this card is what we watercolor washed, which I think is kind of cool. I'm going to stick that over like that. And because I may just give this card to my son, it's a little crooked, but it'll work. I am going to use, so most of you know he details and wrenches on cars and everything. I am going to use the little wrench to put here instead of the little, on my sample, I use the little key. I use the key a lot just because the key is a little bit more generic. But I am going to use the wrench and a glue dot. And I'm just gonna adhere that down there like that. And then again, using the linen thread that I have here. Hope you guys can still see me okay, because my computer decided to go to sleep and I'm not gonna worry about it because I'm close enough to the end here. I'm just gonna go ahead and tie a little bow and adhere this down to my wrench. So anyway, these 5 cards that I shared with you tonight are definitely it's going to be a class option that you can choose from. This next month, I'll be posting probably over the weekend. I just need to take pictures of them and get them put into a little collage and get them posted for you guys to be able to see. But I didn't want to advertise them before my Facebook Live because then it's no fun. You guys would have already seen them all. So let me go ahead and adhere that there. There you have that awesome card as well. So let me bring all of my cards in that we made tonight so you guys to be able to see them again. Get my grid paper out of here. I really like my background here better anyway. Wow, I really made a mess tonight, you guys. You should see this. There is stuff everywhere. So these are the 5 cards that we made tonight, featuring the By the Dock bundle, which I absolutely love. So like I said, this could be your class option for this month. It is available as a class. 5 cards. You get 2 of each one, for a total of 10 cards. And I'm not sure what I will be focusing on next week yet. I think I have it written down in my agenda in my binder, but I don't remember what it is. So I will post it for you guys to be able to see. Now, anyone who puts in an order from now through Sunday night at 8 p.m., since this is a class, instead of getting these, you will get a free package of dimensionals. Again, any order of $30 or more from now through Sunday night, I will send you a free package of dimensionals as a special for watching my Facebook Live. And I look forward to seeing you guys all back here next week. And I hope you guys didn't mind watching me and seeing me like 3 times in a week, because I believe I had my Facebook Live last week, then I had my retirement party, my new catalog sneak peek, and then now you're here with me again tonight. So anyway, thank you all so very much. I hope you enjoyed tonight's projects, and I look forward to seeing you guys all back here next Thursday. Have a great weekend and enjoy the amazing weather we're supposed to have here in Michigan. Bye, everyone.